Hello, Kyle from Offroad Consulting. And today I wanted to talk about one of our newest acquisitions, which is our Can-Am Defender. Now, we had a Can-Am Commander in the past that we used for training, mapping, and things like that on the trail. We used that one pretty heavily when we were mapping different off-road parks because I wanted to cover ground quickly. And then I also wanted to use it for the training classes. But over time, we realized that that wasn't quite the right machine for what we did. So I wanted more of a utility base, especially with the training classes and all the different things that I do. I wanted more of a utility-based, more of a slower, climb over objects better, more of a workhorse than something that goes faster down the trail. So I've been eyeing up different machines, and some of the machines I've been looking at, the CF Motos, I was looking at the Polaris Rangers, but I've always really liked the Can-Am platform. So I was looking at different models, different motor sizes, and for what I'm doing, I wanted to go with either the HD7 or the HD9. Reason for it, cost effectiveness for it being a training vehicle, but I don't really need the high speed. I'm okay as long as it goes up to 60 miles an hour, which this will. I don't care if it does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds. I don't care how long it takes to go 0 to 60, as long as it eventually gets there. But I wanted a low speed workhorse. So I know there's a lot of people out there that say there's no replacement for CCs, but I wanted to try out the HD7 to see what it was like, and you're going to see my results and my opinions in this video. First upgrades that I did was I found these wheels and tires on Marketplace. I wanted to get away from the factory wheel and tire just because it was just a standard 14-inch wheel, and with some of my current relationships with vendors, a lot of the aftermarket tire companies do not have 14-inch wheeled tires. So I wanted a 15-inch wheel so I could adapt normal off-road tires to it if I needed to. But I also wanted something that was just a little bit taller to see if the HD7 could handle the power needed to turn a little bit bigger of a tire. So I found these 29s on 15-inch wheels. So I jumped at getting them, and I actually really like the look of it, and it didn't take any power, noticeable power, away from the machine. Gave it just a little bit of a height to it, a little bit more aggressive of a tire, and a little bit more of a mud terrain type of look tire instead of a really aggressive ATV tire. They are a radial tire, so it's a little bit better for the variation of driving that I do. I do not see if they are a DOT. I do not see any DOT stamping on there, but they are a radial tire 8-ply. 15-inch wheel, overall nice setup, the same wheels and tires front and back, so there's not a wider tire in the back and narrower tire in the front. I added these rock rails just to protect when I'm out driving over rough terrain or I have somebody else driving it for the training class, that it handles bumping into things without issue. I added aluminum skid plates underneath the floorboards for protection there. Some of the other upgrades that I have done to this. I put the XT seats in it. Now, these are not the seats from the 2022s and newer that have even higher bolsters. These are from a 2021, but it's a lot more comfortable of a seat than it was from the factory. Added an air compressor, which I pretty much do in all of my side-by-sides because I like to have that air at a moment's notice for airing up and airing down. And what I did, I added the ARB air compressor to the frame So at a flip of a switch, I have enough air volume to air up the tires in a side-by-side. Roof, mirrors were an add-on. Added a worn winch to the front. Now I will be adding a Factor 55 Ultra hook to the front, and I will be adding Warren's heavy-duty Can-Am Defender steel bumper that puts the winch up on top of the bumper instead of recessed in where you can't see it. I like to have it exposed, easy to use, just like it would be on my Jeep. And I'm not 100% set on how I want to have the accessories on this yet, but what I always like to have is everything I need. That whole go prepared, be prepared mentality. That's how I like to be with everything I have. So I like to have a matching spare tire. I haven't decided how I'm going to mount this yet. I'm looking into different mounting systems, and if anybody has any opinions, feel free to reach out, let me know. I am looking for a mounting system for that. I don't want it to block the view, but I want it to mount nicely somewhere where it's out of view. I was thinking of the rough country one that locks into the side and the spare tire mounts on it, but put it on the front so the spare tire could actually go in this space here. I'm not 100% set on that yet. I used these aluminum clamps from Globex Performance out of New Jersey. Very nice setup there. And I made this nice little angle iron bracket that this best top rack fits into. Nice and solid. I have my pack out boxes set up, ready to go. So this bottom box is all my recovery gear. I do a lot of UTV winch trainings for corporations and individuals. So I need all the recovery gear with me. So that whole box is recovery gear. This is tools and parts that I may need for the machine. And then this is air and tire repair. I have my high lift jack. It is a 36-inch high lift jack for the UTVs. It works really well on my rocker protection, but I have that mounted here. Also, I'm trying to decide if I like that mount or not. I want to put a couple roto packs here, which I haven't acquired yet. I'm trying to figure out what bracket system and what I want to use for that. And again, this is going to be a training vehicle. I have my action tracks, which I use all the time. I'm going to really start using these a lot in my UTV program because they work so well with the full size. And not a lot of ATVs and UTVs utilize using a traction board setup. But I have these bolted down so they won't go anywhere. Nice out of the way. I still have access to the bed if needed. I just have to find another spot for the spare tire. But also, the way I made this was, this rack system is here for when I'm doing my off-road trainings, driving trainings and winch trainings. If I'm going to be using it around the house and around the property, or just anytime I need just the bed, literally this tube racks rail system on the side here, it has the Can-Am twist locks. I unlock them, and it's 4 total, 2 per side. I unlatch them, and I'm actually putting a system in my barn that I can back underneath, crank it up, lift that up out of the bed, leave it hang there or lower it to the ground. Then it's out of the bed. I don't need it, out of the way. But then when I need the machine again for training, lower it back down the bed, tighten the clamps, and off I go. Now, watching this video, and you will see how I test the machine out for pulling. It's supposed to be able to tow 2,500 pounds. So I put about 1,500 pounds of dirt in a 500-pound trailer. So I was about 2,000 pounds. And I pulled it up a really steep, loose driveway. And of course, videos are deceiving. So you look at the different angles. It's a pretty steep, loose driveway. And it pulled it up with ease. Tires broke traction here and there, but not terribly. I used it out on the trail, climbing up some rockier areas. Just overall trail riding, general off-roading with it. It handled really well, handled the bumps well, and also some quick speed bumps and things like that going through. It actually handled really, really well. It rides comfortably, and it's got plenty of power for what I need. Is the HD9 or the HD10 more powerful? Of course they are, but Do you need that? I don't need it for what I do, and I've been using this and using this hard, and I have not regretted having the HD7 at all.